Hey there, space aficionado. Let's dive into a topic that's equal parts fascinating and slightly unsettling: Russia's Space Force. You've probably heard about the US Space Force, but did you know Russia has its own version of a space-focused military branch? While it might not have the flashy branding or catchy name yet, Russia's space capabilities are nothing to scoff at, and they're playing a major role in shaping the future of orbital warfare. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's explore what Russia's Space Force is all about, how it operates, and why it matters on the global stage. Before we get too deep into the weeds, let's clarify something. Russia doesn't officially call its space operations a space force. Instead, these responsibilities fall under the umbrella of the Russian Aerospace Forces, which was established in 2015 by merging the Russian Air Force and Space Defense Forces. This unified command oversees everything from air defense to missile warning systems to satellite operations. But don't let the lack of a catchy name fool you. Russia's space program, backed by decades of Soviet-era expertise, is one of the most advanced in the world. And when it comes to securing orbital assets, Russia has been making headlines for both its defensive strategies and its potentially aggressive tactics. Now, here's where things get interesting. Like any nation with significant space investments, Russia wants to protect its satellites, which are critical for communications, navigation, reconnaissance, and early warning systems. But some of its methods for doing so raise eyebrows and alarms. On the surface, Russia's Space Force focuses on safeguarding its own orbital infrastructure. Using ground-based radars and space surveillance networks, Russia tracks objects in orbit to prevent collisions and identify potential threats. Russian engineers design satellites to resist jamming, hacking, and even physical attacks. Some reports suggest they're experimenting with self-defense mechanisms, though details remain classified. By deploying backup satellites and redundant systems, Russia ensures that losing one asset won't cripple its entire network. All of this sounds reasonable enough. After all, every country wants to protect its investments in space. But here's the twist. While Russia claims its efforts are purely defensive, evidence suggests otherwise. In recent years, Russia has tested several technologies that could be used offensively against other nations' orbital assets. For example, in 2021, Russia conducted a direct ascent ASAT test, destroying one of its defunct satellites. The resulting debris cloud endangered the International Space Station and drew widespread condemnation. These inspector satellites can maneuver close to other spacecraft under the guise of maintenance or observation, but they could also disable or destroy them. Think of them as Trojan horses in orbit. Russia has developed sophisticated jamming and spoofing systems capable of disrupting GPS signals and satellite communications over large areas. In short, while Russia says it's protecting its own assets, its actions suggest it's preparing to neutralize others. To understand Russia's motivations, we need to look at the bigger picture. Space isn't just a scientific frontier, it's a strategic battleground. Here's why Russia is so invested. Like the US, Russia relies heavily on satellites for intelligence gathering, missile detection, and battlefield coordination. Losing access to these systems would leave its armed forces severely handicapped. The US has long held an advantage in space technology, particularly with its GPS constellation and advanced reconnaissance satellites. By developing counterspace capabilities, Russia aims to level the playing field and maybe even tip the scales in its favor. Space exploration has always been tied to national pride. From launching Sputnik to sending Yuri Gagarin into orbit, Russia sees space as a way to assert itself as a global superpower. As commercial ventures like asteroid mining and space tourism take off, securing a foothold in space could translate into massive economic benefits down the line. For Russia, dominating space isn't just about survival, it's about reclaiming its status as a leader in the cosmos. When comparing Russia's space capabilities to those of the US, two things stand out. Russia benefits from decades of experience dating back to the Soviet era. Its Proton rockets, Soyuz spacecraft, and GLONASS navigation system are tried and true technologies. However, the US is pushing boundaries with reusable rockets, next-gen satellites, and cutting-edge cyber defenses. Russia's economy simply can't compete with the vast resources available to the US. This limits its ability to invest in large-scale projects or keep up with rapid technological advancements. That said, Russia makes up for its budgetary limitations with clever engineering and asymmetric tactics. For instance, its focus on co-orbital satellites and electronic warfare gives it tools that are relatively inexpensive yet highly effective. Let's face it, militarizing space is a double-edged sword. On one hand, having a robust space force ensures a nation's security and resilience. On the other hand, it increases the risk of conflict escalating beyond Earth's atmosphere. Here's what's at stake. Every collision or explosion in orbit creates thousands of fragments, each traveling at hypersonic speeds. Even small pieces can destroy functioning satellites, turning parts of space into no-go zones. A skirmish involving satellites could spiral into a full-blown war, with devastating consequences for civilians who rely on space-based services. As more countries develop space programs, finding ways to collaborate rather than compete becomes crucial. Without clear rules, misunderstandings and miscalculations are inevitable. Russia's approach, combining defensive measures with offensive capabilities, highlights the delicate balance between securing orbital assets and threatening global stability. Russia's Space Force may not have the same Hollywood appeal as its American counterpart, but it's a formidable player in the race for space dominance. Whether it's defending its satellites, testing anti-satellite weapons, or maneuvering co-orbital platforms, Russia is proving that it won't cede control of the heavens without a fight. As humanity continues to push the boundaries of space exploration, questions about ownership, security, and ethics will only grow louder. Will Russia's actions inspire cooperation or spark conflict? Only time will tell. Next time you gaze up at the stars, remember that the peaceful void above us is becoming an increasingly contested arena. Somewhere in orbit, Russian satellites are silently watching, waiting, and perhaps plotting their next move. It's a reminder that the wonders of space come with profound responsibilities and risks. Until next time, keep looking up and stay curious.